Hey everyone, my name is Ashley and I'll be showing you how to make musical plushies out of any stuffed animal in your house. The materials that you're going to need are thread, conductive thread, a needle, a seam ripper, scissors, conductive tape, heat shrink tubing, a heat gun, or if you don't have a heat gun, a high-powered blow dryer, a Makey Makey kit, and finally, the plush toy that you're going to be doing surgery on. Today, I'll be doing surgery on the GitHub Octocat. The first thing you want to do is examine your plush and figure out which parts you want to be making sound. I find drawing a diagram pretty helpful. Here's my diagram of the Octocat. I decided that since it had 5 arms, the touch points were going to be at the end of the tentacles. Once you figured out where your touch points are going to be, I also find it helpful to draw out exactly how your wires are going to be running from your Makey Makey to your touch points. So back to the diagram. Taking a look at the plushie, it seems like the most reasonable place to put the Makey Makey is in the body of the Octocat. What a Makey Makey needs to work is for someone to be touching both the wire that runs from ground and the wire that runs from the key that they want pressed. With that said, we'll need to run 2 wires for each touch point. We'll be using conductive tape as the touch point, and those will be accessible on the outside of the plushie. Now that we have a general idea of what we need to do, here's the fun part. We're going to take our seam ripper, find a pretty big seam on the plushie. I choose the back of the head, and we're going to open it up. Once you've gotten a big enough hole, you want to take out all the cotton that's inside, everything, to make room for the Makey Makey. Now let's go back to the touch points. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this conductive tape and cut out a piece of it and put it on each side of the tentacle. Once you cut out all your touch points, it's time to stick them on to the plush. Now that we've gotten all the touch points stuck on, we need to find out how to run the wires from the Makey Makey to where the touch points are. For some plushies, this might be really easy. There might be a direct route from the Makey Makey all the way to the touch point. But for this Octocat, since there's a seam right here, I'll need to figure out another way to run these wires. What I'll do is cut a hole right here and right here so that the wire can come out and then back in through the tentacle. Here I've cut a hole at the bottom of the tentacle, and now I'm going to pull out all the cotton that's inside. Now that I pulled out all the cotton, I'm going to cut a hole right here so that I can run the wire through. Now that we have a pathway for the wire to run through, it's time to put the wire into the Makey Makey. Then you put the Makey Makey into the Octocat, and then run the wire through the 2 holes that you've made. Now that we've threaded the wire through one of the holes, we need to figure out how to connect this wire to this touch point. What I'll be using is conductive thread. First, I'm going to bend this wire into a little loop. Once I have a little loop made, I'm going to be taking this thread and threading it through that loop. Now I'm going to use heat shrink to protect the thread from being exposed. The way that we're going to get this conductive thread to hit this touch point is to use a needle. So here's the hardest part. I'm going to take this needle, poke this through the hole, and then after that, poke this out through the touch point. We want to make sure we pull it all the way until it stops. That way we know that we've reached a heat shrink. Once it seems like you can't pull anymore, you want to tie it off with a square knot. For those of you who don't know what square knot is, it's the right string over the left string, and then the left string over the right string. After you tied the square knot, cut off the remaining thread with a scissor. Congratulations, you got 1 tentacle down. Now we gotta do the same exact thing for the other side. Instead, this time, we're gonna connect the wire to the key instead of ground. Now that you got the conductive thread sewn on both sides, it's time to put the stuffing back in. Once you put the stuffing back in, it's time to test it out. Hook up one of your wires to one of the keys and the other wire to ground. Once you've plugged in the Makey Makey, go to my website, linked down below, and press the tentacle to see if it worked. If you can't get your plushie to make a sound, here are some troubleshooting tips. Number 1, you want to make sure your fingers are on both touch points. Number 2, you want to make sure that your browser window is active. Try clicking on the window. Number 3, you want to make sure that everything is plugged in properly, your Makey Makey and the 2 wires. Number 4, you want to make sure that the wires are connected to the keyboard side of the Makey Makey and not the mouse side. If you've tried all those options and your plushie still doesn't work, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section below. If you were able to get your plushie working, great job! Now it's time to do the rest of the touch points. For the Octocat, I have 4 more tentacles to go. So I've just finished the rest of the tentacles and now it's time for the moment of truth. Once you've made sure that your plushie works, it's time to take all the rest of the stuffing that you've pulled out from the beginning and stuff it back in. Now that Octocat is back to its original shape, it's time to stitch them up. I recommend using the ladder stitch. Link in the description down below. Congratulations! You finished your first musical plushie. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I can't wait to see what y'all make. Good luck and goodbye!